Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting VOBES Show. It's the 20th of August 2018, and I'm Richard Vobes from a back room in Worthing, from a terraced house besides the English Channel, nestling at the bottom of the South Downs. This show comes to you. Have to say, a little bit tired today, a little bit knackered, but don't let that worry you. The show must go on. Hello and welcome. Let's see if there's anybody joining us out there live, as we are always try to do a live show Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. And I can see that the lovely Julia has arrived, Anne Osborne, Cynthia Walden, Terrace Dack, Coombe, we have Kevin Hall, Anne Evans, James DeWill, Paul Hine, and many, many more. Hello! It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming along. And Steve Pilfold has already noticed we have some opening credits. Yes, we do. I've been meaning to do this for the VOBES Show for absolutely ages, for months in fact. I've managed to do it for the Biddenden Tractorfest. I've managed to do it for the Regency Town House, but I'd never really worked out how I was going to do the VOBES Show. And then this afternoon, I thought, you know what? I'm going to set them up and get them all going. So that's all rather good. Let me just make sure the comments are all coming through efficiently, which I think they all are. Nigel Sadler, hello to you, Nigel. Lovely to see you. Andy Ash is there. Gary Richardson, who we met at Tractorfest. Lovely to see you, sir. And apologies that... on the, I think the interview that we did, was it? No, wait a minute, I can't remember. I'm getting confused. No, the one at the motor show. No, that was, yeah, no, the classic. No, it's a different thing. Different thing. Forget I spoke. Forget I spoke. I'm getting a bit confused. Anyway. Kevin Hall says it all looks great, which is great. New comments down here, it says. I don't know why it's not scrolling with me. Richard Suggett has joined. Erica Jordan, Simon Brown, thank you so much for coming. The beginning of another week, and it's all very exciting. Lots of stuff to talk about, but let's talk about the Tractorfest first of all, because we had a smashing time. It was really good. Did you manage to tune in okay, and did you manage to get hold of it? I know when we went live, of course, we went live at a different time than we normally go live on the VOBES Show, which may have confused a few people, but we did say it's at the weekend. And of course, we were popping up fairly randomly. The idea was to go live on the hour, more or less, but we had Bessie, we had to find the right people, we had to set up, we had to get hold of a signal, we had to dodge the occasional raindrop, but there were very few of those actually. We had a fantastic time. The lovely Julia worked really hard, I worked hard, everybody worked hard. And my thanks go to Richard Suggett and Nigel Sadler for coming along and helping us out. So that was really good. On today's show, going to show you some pictures about that. Going to show you some behind the scenes pictures of Sompting Abbots, because tomorrow's video will be about the Sompting Abbots. Also on today's show, we of course have the gallery from the Bald Explorer, which will be exciting. We've picked the best pictures, or the most recent pictures, from posts. The lovely Julia is responsible for that, and she does that. She gathers some information about it, and we'll show you that as well. We've also got some bits and pieces of product here just to show you that we've picked up or been given from the Tractorfest as well. And my lovely Georgie, my daughter Georgie, is off to New Zealand on Wednesday. I say goodbye to her in a special behind the scenes, which I'm going to share to you. Normally the patrons get it, but I'm going to share that on today's show. So lots of things to look at, lots of fun, but I'm just going to show you that sting again. I'm going to make many more of these for different aspects of the show in due course when I get time, but we'll get cracking after this. Okay, so I'm not going to bung that up every 2 seconds. I'll make some nice shorter little stings. We're just trying to make ourselves as a little bit more professional as we possibly can. But I hope you enjoy that sort of thing. It adds a little sort of, I don't know what, je ne sais quoi, isn't it, to the show. That's the sort of thing. Now, I don't know whether Steve Pilfold wants to use the magic Steve Pilfold VOBES thing to talk to the show. I'm going to quickly find that email that I have from Steve, which I have down here somewhere. Let me just see if I can quickly find it, because then what we can do, we have this mechanism. Let me just see if I can find your email. Here we go. Because I haven't actually saved that to the thing. Oh, wait. I can't find it. Wait a minute. I wonder if, Steve, you could send, if you're going to use it, could you just send me the link one more time? It's probably got it in my memory, but I can't remember the where to search. But what we've got this special system so that a volunteer will go into the conversation that you have, because I know that you can't help it. You can't help it. You enjoy having conversation with each other. You've got little bits of stuff to say to each other, which is fine. And then a volunteer will go and post the relevant questions and put them onto this special website so I can see and I don't miss the comments. So Steve hopefully will do that. And I did have, I can't remember where I've put it actually. I've just searched it, but it was from last week, so I've no idea where it is now. But if it comes through again, then we can do that, and that will be absolutely fantastic. I'll have another look in a moment. In the meantime, I'll have a quick look down at the comments and see how we're going, because they sometimes they scroll automatically and I can keep up with them, and sometimes the little thing on the sidebar doesn't move at all. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll know what I mean. If you're watching on YouTube, all that will be absolute rubbish and you won't know what the hell I'm talking about. So there we go. VOBEmatic mechanism, that's right, that's what it is. We certainly can use it. Got 2 screens open today to make it easier. Now I have got an idea. I am going to at some point purchase another computer which will operate here, so I don't have to use my laptop, because my laptop, I don't know whether my laptop is really strong enough to do all of this, because occasionally we have these lip sync problems and it seems to sort of heat up as it's going, oh golly, I'm doing a lot. So I may actually buy another computer. Oh, there we go, that sounds like the emails popped in. And then I can have 2 screens up, which obviously I don't want to sort of have them in the way of the camera, but I can have 2 screens up so we can do the studio stuff here. And when the lovely Julia is in with me, she can certainly see the comments, because she's very keen to make sure she doesn't miss anything as well. And then, you know, whoever is here can guest. Same with any other guest as well. They can all help, and that would be great. It's always nice to have some help. So there we go. Do we still get to see all the comments? Yes, Maggie, you still see to get all. Basically, you put all your comments out there. The conversation still goes, so you can read them. And our volunteer, our sort of studio monitor, our producer, if you like, will will go through those and pick them out. Basically, cut and paste them into this VOBEmatic mechanism, the Steve Pilfold special machine, and then that spits it out to me so I don't miss the relevant ones. Now, he may not pick every single comment in your question, so if you really want a question answered, you may have to answer it twice, and hopefully Steve will pick it. It just means that I don't then sift through a lot of the conversation and make so many mistakes as we've done before. So let me just see if the email has come through. Yes, there we are. The link, here it is. We'll get that going, and there we go. So immediately I can see that Kevin Hall says, I love what I saw on the Tractorfest. Great job from you all. Thank you very much, Kevin. That's great. He also says that he loves the opening credits. Thank you very much, Kevin. I'm very thrilled that you do. Steve Pilfer says, I missed the bed at the start. Should have the same opening with the bed. Not quite sure what you mean by that. You mean the bed of the music, I assume. But anyway, I played it a second time, so there we go. So that's marvellous. And actually, he was standing by before and I hadn't got the link ready. But, you know, we now know in future. And if Steve says he's ready, that would be great. We'll have to work out how you get, you know, how we train somebody else when you've got a day off and you're not doing the VOBES Show stuff. So that would be marvellous. Right, let's crack on then, shall we? And I'll come back to your comments, but keep making them because Steve will do all the work on that. Let's first of all have a look at some of the photographs from the Tractorfest that I took whilst I was away and try and explain what was going on at the same time. So first of all, here we go. Here's some little retrobate that you might recognise sitting there on a very old tractor, and if I remember rightly, it was something like 1947 or 1950 or somewhere, some point like that. Very ancient tractor, but actually the bloke who was selling that had a terrific stand, and he was selling parts. And as you can imagine, at a Tractorfest, selling parts for people who own old tractors must be something that's very useful for them. And obviously was making him lots of money. But this was a beautiful old tractor, and he said, I'm not going to do anything with it. We saw numerous tractors that actually had been restored and lovingly and looked really great. And then there were others in the state of restoration. But I quite like the fact that it was sort of in its you know, like left. I think he said it was left in a I can't remember what he says, but actually in a garage, I think is the thing. Here's the lovely Julia looking absolutely resplendent in her wonderful polo shirt and her special glasses and her Tractorfest cap. I was just trying to think of what you call it. A baseball cap, isn't it? Or I suppose that's what it is. Anyway, purple, all themed up, and she's actually astride of the tractor. We met some fantastic people, and this little chap here on the front in yellow was called Harry. He was only 6, ever so polite, but ever so confident, lovely little chap with such a lot of character. And he used to enjoy riding up and down on this miniature railway. And here he is there. The lovely Julia went on. Now, the other girl there in black and white is one of Emily Champion's daughters. And I am thinking that it's Abby and not Millie, but I may have got that round the wrong way. Millie and Abby, her daughters, will see pictures of those shortly. But anyway, we had a lovely time. Of course, there were animals. And this is not a Shire horse, as I thought it was, but actually a cob horse. And we spoke to Tony, I think his name was, who was telling us all about how he shows them off and actually uses them to plough fields and things. But he mainly shows them off now, and he's one of the last remaining people to use he does a lot of logging, actually, lifting logs and moving about in the old-fashioned way, and it's a dying art form, and it was fantastic to see that. Here we go, is a better picture of the horse, which is superb. Emily Champion says, yes, that was Abby, so I've got that bit right. Richard Suggett is sad because he got very poorly chicken, but everyone in the room wishes him the best with it. Well, that's marvellous. I'm very pleased to hear that. The lovely Julia's correct me. It's a fell pony. Oh, there we go. It's a fell pony. Maggie thinks the tractor suits me. Well, that's rather good. Thank you very much. Okay. So anyway, that's a fell pony, although it doesn't look like it's fallen over much over here. Now, this is a lovely picture. I love this. You can recognise the purple lady on the right, of course. The other lady is Sue Boone, and Sue is the organiser, the main strength behind the Tractorfest. And it's really, I remember going to meet Sue, as well as Joe and Adrian, in a pub at the Red Lion in Biddenden, and was telling her about what I intended to do and what the lovely Julia and I were going to do. And she had no hesitation. She thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I have to say, she's been behind us all the way. She's an absolutely a wonderful lady. And the lady, I believe, on the far left there, sitting there, is her mother, I think, if I've got that right. And they were singing to a bunch of singers called the Tuesday Choir, who a marvellous bunch of well, actually they were all ladies, but it was supposed to be a mixed group, but they have trouble getting men. But they had a fantastic time there, and that was Sue, a lovely lady, and Julia is so good with people. That's why I love working with Julia. She's so good. She just gets in there and does it. We met some other characters. Now, this chap and his wife, Eric and Bridget, from Germany, I believe, and their daughter, and I'm really sorry, I cannot remember the name of the young lady there, but they had a store in the Weald Beekeepers Hall, and they were remarkable. Just come back to me for a second whilst we're talking about it, because they had amazing stuff that they were doing out of beeswax, such as a stress relief balm, which is this thing here. And no doubt when the lovely Julia is in, we'll go through some of these and try them all out. But they do have, I haven't opened this one, amazing smells, and apparently there's amazing qualities to them. So we'll have a look a bit more out there. Beard balm. If you watched it, I had some beard balm put onto my head. I think it was beard balm that was put onto my head. And Richard Suggett had beard balm put onto his beard, because he does have a beard. We were also given, I forget what this is, citronella body oil. This is a very nice body oil. But as I say, the lovely Julia will tell us more about that, because she's into those sort of things. And lip balm, all made from beeswax. Anyway, so these guys, they were a absolute hoot. We thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'm hoping that we can meet up with them in the future. We got their card, and maybe go and see exactly how they do their stuff and make their stuff. Let me just see if there's any messages. Yeah, beard balm, more like weird balm, says Steve, the producer. He saw the bees. Eric was great. I like to think that he was the actual Eric from Under My Feet. Well, yeah, he could have been, couldn't he? He was very tall. Wendy's been away with Victoria over the weekend, but she's going to be catching up on the tractor bit. The lovely Claire Leach said the piece you did with the miniature railway man for charity was very touching. So yeah, that's very true. Marvellous. Let's crack on with some of the other pictures, because there's quite a few of them to get through. Now, here's a lovely picture. I don't know who these people, but wherever we went, ladies and gentlemen, people noticed us. They'd noticed Bessie, and they were intrigued as to what the Bald Explorer was doing there. And I have to say, the lovely Julia there was brilliant at promoting and explaining what it was we were up to. But yeah, we could never really get off duty, which I think is why we're both quite exhausted, because we were pretty much being interviewed and asked about left, right, and centre, which was rather good. Of course, it's not just me who has the nice pictures. Mr. Suggett there in the early t-shirt, looking absolutely resplendent. This was before he had the beard balm on him, of course. And again, the lovely Julia, which was marvellous. And, of course, to remind you what it was all about, one of the many things was these tractors, and they would be chugging around all over the place, running over children left, right and centre, and squeezing grannies into the ground. No, not at all, not at all. But there was a sense that nothing was really ringed off. And it was such a friendly atmosphere, and everybody who I encountered said it was a lovely, friendly atmosphere. I don't know who this bloke was, but he kept going around with this weird contraption, I have to say, interviewing people and going live at any time. He was joined by this lovely fair maiden, well, purple maiden really, who was helping. Here's another horse. This was a horse who was there for riding for the disabled. And they were I think they were called Chalkwell, and they helped disabled people get up onto a horse, which boosted them confidence, gave them some fun, was a life-changing thing. We did an interview with the organisers of that and had a lovely time. There were other things that we would like to have talked to people about. This is obviously an owl of some description. I can't tell you what kind of owl, because I didn't get round to talking to that, but there's some more of those animal pictures in a second. Hang on, I just got to find the next one. I seem to have got myself into a bit of a tizzy here. Yeah, I've done that owl picture, so let's get a shot of that. Because here was another tractor, a very big tractor, very large, which was very nice. And then here's another tractor. Oh no, that's not a tractor. Sorry about that. That was our our Bessie, and I have to say, she did go down very well. She did look the part with those colours, you know. When you look at that other tractor that just there, you compare that. I was aiming that Bessie would look like, you know, some of the farm implements type things. So we seem to have managed to do that pretty well. Here's the lovely Julia on the day before we were ready, or on arrival, just before people came in, just setting up. Yeah, it looks all very nice, doesn't it? I have to agree. Here again, we see Sue Boone and two of the lovely ladies who were helping. There's Rachel in the middle and Joss on the right-hand side. This was actually on the Tuesday when I went up to do my testing to see if everything worked. You'll notice that the laptop and cameras are a bit more exposed. We put a hood on in the end. But they were absolutely thrilled with the concept and idea, as most people did. Sue Boone again here with the lovely Adrian Lidgett, who was an absolute star and helped us out, as was Joe Smith, who was our main contact and was sort of organising where we went and keeping us fed, watered and looked after. Everybody was really nice and really good, which was great. As I say, some animal, different, well, birds, obviously, but animals, different birds. We would love to have spoken to the keepers of these. This is, I guess that's a vulture. I'm not quite sure, but that's it certainly looks fairly vulture-like. Eyeing us up, I noticed, because we were a bit tired. This gentleman featured in one of the stings. He was actually just a lovely-looking chap with a lovely face, and he was a driver of one of these miniature traction engines which were going around, and loads of people were doing it. Actually, if you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, somebody in a Motability scooter, and actually I kind of remember thinking that, you know, they're not far removed from the traction engine. Some of the Motability scooters go faster than the traction engines. There's a little boy on the back of that one. So all great fun. And I suppose for me, the iconic picture from the Tractor Festival was something like that, because so many of these tractors were lined up with their grills and their wheels, and you know, this one I guess is a Massey Ferguson. It's got MF on it, but there were loads of them, all owned by enthusiasts, and I have to say, you know, they were all very nice and supportive people. So it was a thrill. It was an absolute thrill to do it. So thanks to everybody there. Now, I don't really know quite, you know, what the overall benefit to us is going to be. Hopefully we'll get to do some more. It was certainly a good training operation for us. It was an experiment, taking out Bessie. It sort of worked. We've learned lots of things. We've made tons of mistakes, as I'm sure you're all aware. It was hard work. But we came away with lots of ideas and lots of thoughts. The main thing was we could get a signal, and we were able to get on air, as it were. We had 2 microphones. We could interview people. People were responsive. People loved the idea. So all in all, you know, if you're out of 10, I would say it was a good 8 out of 10. Yes, of course, there's room for improvement, but for the first outing, I think we did really well. And so I just want to say to the lovely Julia, who worked her socks off with me, and I did, you know, I can be friendly and nice and all of that, but when I have my production head on, I am a bit of a whip cracker, and I want to try and get everything right. So I just want to say to Julia, you know, because I very rarely give her enough praise live. I'll tell her after the shows and things, but actually, you know, she was doing absolutely brilliantly. And I very often put her into the deep end. There was one occasion, and I just said to her, so, oh, look, Julia, can you just open this? Can you just do the thing? Because I need to do this, this and this. And unflinching, she said, yes, of course. And so she was brilliant. And, you know, to be fair, I've been mucking about with video and stuff pretty much all my life, on and off. And Julia's only worked with me for 7 months. And, you know, I dropped her in the deep end doing live things. So she is a natural. And so, you know, in another 7 months, she would have ditched me and would be doing her own show. So I'm slightly worried about that. But yes, so all praise to, thank you, all praise to the lovely Julia. So that was absolutely fantastic. Let's go and have a look at our messages then, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Emily wants to drive a tractor to school, and Maya would call in sick to come and watch her arrive. Well, I don't blame her. Julia was absolutely superb from the bits I saw. An excellent presenter, says Steve Pilfold. Thanks, Steve. Maggie likes the older tractors and the slower pace of farming. Yeah, I think we both, Julia and I, really like that. I mean, the big tractors do the job and they get stuff done. But when you talk to people, some of the older people who knew the older, smaller tractors, you know, they could actually repair them. They may not have been as fast, but if things went wrong, they could take a hammer to it and give it a clang and get the thing working. Whereas these modern things that do so much and save so much time, and in the end, it's a bit like a factory, I think, rather than a, you know, what we think of a farm, because it is a way of life. That they have to go into the garage and it costs a lot of time, and of course it's all thing. It's all money, isn't it? Maggie also thinks that Bessie is as tall as the lovely Julia. Actually, yes, it almost towered over her, which was great. Julia says that it was a Eurasian eagle owl. Woot woo! Emily thinks that there were some beasts of tractors. Beasts, I tell you. I think Emily Champion quite likes her beasts. Andy Ash likes the wheels that are on the tractor, the Fordson, not like the wheels on the bus that go round. Those on the tractors, they were pretty stationary. We did get to ride on a tractor live, not very far, on one of those old fangled tractors, which was great. Maggie liked the pictures of Julia and I. Pre-pupils logo on Snugget. Steve, oh yes, that was the thing. So there we go. Marvellous, marvellous. Thank you very much for those. Right, let's see what else we've got lined up for you on our thing. Let's go to the gallery, shall we? Because you've been busy posting pictures while the lovely Julia and I have been away. And thanks to Julia again to go out there and get the gallery. To be honest, I had to do a little bit of corporate stuff this morning for a client of mine. And I've been running around doing other bits and pieces, as well as sort of rebuilding the studio, so we had something, and making the sting. So thanks to Julia for pulling out the gallery. I haven't had a huge amount of time to go on Facebook and see what we've been missing, but lots of things have been going on. So let's have a look in the gallery, and we do have the gallery music still at the moment, but I might actually do a sting for the gallery to get it off in the future, but let's not worry about that too much. So on the gallery today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with this, which might just to you and I look like an ordinary house, but it is in fact no ordinary house. This house, I'm just going to go back into my emails, which I have currently lost, which is always a swine. This house is this is from Kevin Hall, who says that on his holiday last week to Hucknall in Nottinghamshire, himself and his cousin Sue Blount decided to find the house their fathers Howard and Frank grew up in. In fact, Uncle Frank was born in that very house. And now the people in the house are Jim and Jean Lamb, and they invited them in and showed them round. The original cast iron bath is still there, and in the garden you can see that apple trees were planted by their grandfather Charles. The amazing thing about the garden is it's 100 yards long. It really is 100 yards long, so that's pretty amazing. But you know, it's a lovely looking house. Marv. Okay, so that's from Kevin. Now, here we go. Let's go to something a bit more space age. And this is Ed Keeley. Thanks, Ed. Peterborough Cathedral is featuring Tim Peake's space capsule. It's quite amazing, this. Despite having lived here for 17 years, this is the first time that Ed Keeley had visited. And here we go. This is an amazing capsule. And if you go on the group, of course, you'll see more of the pictures that people have posted. This is the Bald Explorer group. And obviously this is the VOBES Show. So don't get the two confused. You have to go to Facebook and join the group and you'll see all those. Thanks to Nigel Sadler, who was also taking photographs at the Tractorfest. So this is one of his. You can see the little marquee, or actually gazebo, that we had. Which is an incredible little thing where it was our base that we occasionally would go back and every now and again have a cup of tea, but not that often because we were so busy. We were here getting set up for day 2 of the Bald Explorer Live at the Tractorfest, and I'm actually there talking. I can't remember who that chap is actually. I'm talking to somebody. I think he was one of the official photographers. I'm not sure. But we were handing out our leaflets. And just behind me, I don't know if you can make that out, is the lovely Joe. Anyway, meanwhile, Matthew Holdsworth has gone to Breen Down, which is a bit of land that sticks out into the Bristol Channel. Breen Down, he says, is a continuation of the Mendips and is made of coniferous limestone. It looks very nice. I'm sure he's having a lovely holiday because it is still the summer holidays. Now, Mark Selwood and Nikki Jess, they seem to be getting on very well, and we're desperately waiting for the gossip about how they are getting on, but they seem to be doing a bit of a tour, because this, I think, is in Brighton, and they meet up with Anne Osborne. There's the lovely Anne, which is fantastic. Jess Roadshow continues, it says here, with a meeting with the lovely Anne Osborne. Thank you for the tea and cake, Anne and Bob. And there they are. I guess it was Bob taking the photograph on that. It's so lovely to see. So lovely to see you, Anne. If you're watching, that's lovely. And yeah, we've been trying to meet. Of course, we met up. I think we met up with Shirley Ward, and we've met up with Downsland Michael. We were still waiting to hear how well Downsland Michael is, because he's not very well. And Maggie, and of course Robbie. We've met up with various people, as you know, obviously various people who appeared on the show. But the lovely Julia and I are desperate to meet up with more of you, so we're going to try and do that. But it's lovely that Marks and Nikki, have picked up the mantle that we started and are also meeting people. Let's carry on with our look in the gallery. Judith Oakley's popped up to Box Hill near Dorking. Actually not too far away from where Matthew Holdsworth and family and lovely Julia and I went to when we did the stepping stones on that video, if you remember it. So that's a lovely view. Thank you very much, Judith, for posting that. Glenn Johnson has been to Shipley Church, and apparently it has connections to the Knights Templar. I'm not quite sure what those connections are, whether there's a secret portal that takes you into their lair, but who knows. Meanwhile, back at the Tractorfest, here we go. We've got Abby and Millie. I think Abby now is the one in stripes. Millie is the one with the pale green hoodie over her. And Bessie is the sort of orangey and green thing. It's got a little hat itself, so there we are. And they're looking great. Thanks, girls, for all your help, by the way. It was lovely. Claire Leach has asked if anyone could help identify this tree with the red berries on it. Sarah Paul suggested, and I'm not sure if I get this right, is it Gelder Rose or something like that? I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but if anybody else knows what that is, then do tell Claire Leach. Meanwhile, here we are. This is Carol Glue. Is that how you pronounce your name, Carol? Carol Glue has visited the town of Bradford-on-Avon, which is a place I'm desperate to go and visit because it seems to be one of the most picturesque places on this earth. And it does sound very nice, and I must get down. It's got some lovely old property, but look at that, beautiful. I'm guessing that's from a bridge, and that Carol isn't actually floating a little above it. And how marvellous is that? And finally, Brendan Potts, who emailed or messaged me, said, is it all right if I post pictures of my models on the group? They are sort of heritage, because these are old. He's into old Navy boats. And I said, yes, of course. He's, I forget how old you are, 15 or 16, Brendan. But anyway, he says, here's the sister ship of renown, HMS Repulse. And it's commissioned in August 1916 under Pennant number 34. Repulse was the second of two renowned class battleship cruisers of the Royal Navy. Not really sure myself what a renown thing is, but it's lovely to see it, and I'm assuming you've made those models yourself, so well done. And yes, why not post them? It's all a bit of heritage and it's all a bit of fun. So there we go. So marvellous. Thank you very much, everyone, for posting stuff in the group, in the gallery, in the group. That's really good. It's great to see your enthusiasm. We really do have over there on the Bald Explorer group such a friendly bunch, such a nice group. We rarely get any snarky, nasty comments. Everybody's really lovely, and it's great to see. I think often we are the envy of many other groups. We may not be the biggest, but we've nearly got 1,000 members, which I think is incredible. So if you are one of those members and you occasionally slip into the VOBES Show, as some people do, they say, oh, you know, we lurk and we watch, but we never comment. Do comment. Lovely to know you're there. We're not going to bite your head off. Everybody is relatively friendly. You might see the comments occasionally look like it's a bit cliquey with people talking to each other, but it really isn't. You'll be welcomed in because we have a lovely bunch of admin people who are making sure, and everybody I think is very nice. Occasionally we get, you know, the odd overzealous comments. I know Andy Ash likes to get a bit carried away with the old innuendo from time to time, but he knows that I'll come after him with a whip and sort him out if he's a little bit too saucy. Let's see what other comments are coming in here. Mark Selwood says, we want to see you and Julia next Wednesday. Unfortunately, I'm not around on Wednesday. I'm actually out with the Emily Champion, going for a walk. And then, remember I mentioned there was this... if you wanted to have a meal with the Vobes, or invite the Vobes to have a meal with you, and we'll film it and we'll have a chat and we'll make a video out of it. Well, that's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually going to do that. Emily Champion came forward and says, yeah, I'll cook a meal for you. I think we're going to have a curry with the family, her hubby, Emily and Abby. Not Emily. Yeah, no, Emily, Abby and Millie and her hubby. And myself, it's going to be fun. I get a free meal, you see, basically. But we're going to somehow got to work out how we're going to film that, and then we're going to put that, or maybe we do it live. Maybe we can do it live. That would be interesting. I'm not sure how we. I have to bring Bessie up. Emily, can Bessie fit into your living room wherever we're going to do it? Or if it's nice, maybe we do it outside on the patio, and we eat and chat live on Facebook. That would be even better. So if you fancy doing that. Then do let me know and we'll try and organise something. If you've got enough food for the lovely Julia and I, because Julia doesn't eat very much, then I'm sure she would love to come because she's very good at conversation. Whereas I'm not so good at... Well, I'm reasonable at conversation. What other messages? Maggie wants to know if you've got to keep the long banner. And actually, yes, I have got the long banner, but it's in one of the boxes on the other side of the studio. So there we go. Ian Beddoes says... years ago, we had 2 Shire horses tilling the land. Now we have a JCB digging it up for housing. Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a shame. Steve has put a little note. You'll have an opinion on this one, Richard. Yes, well, I do have an opinion on that, but I won't launch into that now. I'll keep that for perhaps for the Naked Englishman. So there we go. Do you know that Emily's family just slap cream on your face when you go round? Oh, is that what they're going to do? Yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me. That would be the meal. Because I probably walked into that, haven't I? I've probably walked straight into it, that they'll all have custard pies. Yes, I can see what's going to happen. As soon as we go, you know, it'll look like nice and curry with rice, and they'll swap it for a custard pie, and they'll just go like that, straight into the old face, and I'm not sure I want that. So there we go. Right, I'm going to show you a video because we're running out a bit of time. You may realise that some of you, lovely people, support the show financially by becoming a patron. Now, if you become a patron of the Vobes or the Bald Explorer, and to help what we're trying to do here, and some people make a one-off donation, which is fantastic, and some people make a regular donation, like the price of a cup of coffee, or a coffee and maybe a bun a month, which you imagine is not very much. We do have one lovely, lovely lady who says, well, look, I don't want to do a coffee and a bun. If I go out one evening for entertainment, it's going to cost me a little bit more than that, you know, a meal somewhere. And she sends me the equivalent of like a meal for 2 every month. And she's been doing that for a while. She's absolutely fantastic. So thank you. I won't mention her because she didn't know I was going to do that. So I don't want to embarrass anybody. But so some people do, and it really does help. It's why we've, I bought a lot of stuff for the Tractor Festival. We weren't being paid at all. We did have a personal donation from Joe, which was nice, but and we had some of our food covered on cash, which was very nice. And actually, Joe, we did spend a bit of that yesterday. But just the battery unit alone to power the tractor, to power the laptop and everything, was £400. Just this battery to put into Jess, which lasted the 2 days and made us independent. And of course, it cost me about £25 a month to have the bandwidth on the modem so that we can do those live shows throughout the summer. You have to buy a certain amount. It doesn't roll over. So there's and of course then there's the petrol coming in, and very often when Julia and I have stayed away, we have to book a couple of we have to book in a couple of rooms, And those, of course, you know, that puts the price up. Then there's meals and stuff. And it's all because we're desperately trying to make this content and the walks and the things and make some nice stuff for you guys to enjoy. Obviously, we enjoy doing it. It's our passion. But we're not. It's not like a corporation where there's lots of expenses. And so those people who do support the show, we don't really ask for very much. I mean, actually, I don't demand anyone pay anything because we desperately want to do it. But people do support the show, whether that's a one-off donation, as I say, or a regular payment. So when you do that, you get a podcast from me every day, apart from the last couple of days when we were away, but mostly every day, which is a sort of 10 to 15 minute personal diary of my life called The Naked Englishman. You'll hear people talk about that occasionally in the group or on the VOBES Show, and it's just it's me stripped down, not literally stripped down, but it's sort of without the show and music and stuff. And it's a stream of consciousness, really. It's the things that I'm thinking about, worrying about, trying to get off the ground, projects and things, and occasionally the odd bits of philosophy, sometimes a bit of politics. I try not to do too much, but sometimes, you know, we all have these things that worry us or concern us, or we want to spout off something. So that's what that is. You get to know me. But more than that, you get this behind the scenes video. And every day, whatever I'm up to, I will film a little 2 to 3 minute piece. And then they all get edited up, and at the end of the week you get this sort of week's worth of what we've been doing. So there's bits at the moment from behind the scenes at the Biddington Tractorfest, and there's bits in the preparation for that. Tomorrow I'm going down to the Somerset Levels to do some videoing for not a corporate client, but for a client. I'll tell you about that briefly in a second. So of course, again, I'll do a little bit of behind the scenes down there. And I'll be staying there and coming back Wednesday evening. So there's a little bit. So anyway, I'm going to show you an excerpt now from one of this week's coming bits, because it's about my lovely Georgie, and I'm going to say goodbye to the lovely Georgie. We say goodbye, sort of, on this. She's going to New Zealand for an indeterminate time. It may be a year, maybe 2 years. She said, well, you never know. I may not ever come back. So here we are. This is just raw. It's just as we switch the camera on. It's nothing fancy. But I just thought I'd share that with you tonight. So, 20th of August 2018. Lovely Georgie back here again. Oh, and I'm back from Biddington. We've done that. It's all finished. Bess is put away. Julia has a headache and is having to lie down. And I'm at home tidying up and getting my head together. But, never mind all that. The lovely Georgie. Hello, Georgie.
Hello.
You are off to New Zealand.
Yes.
Wednesday.
In 2 days.
In 2 days. And this is like the last time I get to see you before you fly away, because you're busy, busy, busy.
Yes. Get everything sorted and then off I go.
So what time is your flight?
8:10 in the evening.
On Wednesday evening?
On Wednesday, so probably leave home about 4 o'clock-ish.
Oh, golly.
Try and beat the traffic and, yeah, head to Heathrow.
Yeah. When you say head home, from where?
Did I say head home?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think.
I meant leave home.
Oh, leave home. Oh, to go to the
yeah.
to the airport.
So this sort of time in 2 days.
But you're going with a friend?
Yes, flying with a friend. Flying with a friend and staying with a friend for 2 weeks out there.
Oh, that's good. And so, how long is the flight?
So it's a 12-hour flight.
Right.
Stop over at Hong Kong.
Then within that 12 hours? Or
do 12 hours.
And then stop?
Stop at Hong Kong for 3 hours to get an exchange flight.
Right.
For another 10 hours. And then stop at... We're then in New Zealand, but in Auckland. And then we're flying down to Queenstown, which is an hour and a half.
So 3 flights in total, really?
Yeah. Lots
Gosh,
of sleeping.
so when you'll get there... Hang on, they're ahead of us anyway?
11 hours ahead.
So they're 11 hours ahead. So actually you land an hour after you've left here in time. If it's 12 hours, so if you say you left at 12, you would, and it's a 12-hour flight, you'd be leaving at 12, but because they're ahead, actually by that time you've only been, from our point of view, you've only been in the air an hour.
Yes,
it's not really like that,
not
is
really,
it?
because travel time.
Yeah,
I guess,
but you'll be travelling into the future.
Yes, yeah, I'll miss a day, I guess, or something.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So I don't know what.
I'll get my head around
day,
that.
I think I land.
New
Zealand days on a Friday. I land on a Friday in New Zealand, but it might still be Thursday night here.
Yeah. Yeah.
can't remember.
So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
complicated.
Are you excited?
I am. It's really not sunken in yet. I know it's
Still
2
not
days
sunken
away,
in 2
but
days
it's not
ago.
really.
I guess as you pack your bag and you head up to the airport.
It will then.
Yeah, and you've
sure.
got everything. You've just been printing out tons of
Printing out
stuff.
my visa, my bank statements, some CVs. Just getting all prepared because there's some things you have to show them when you get there. Travel insurance and.
Gosh, so you're going there for it's not a holiday as such.
Unplanned amount of time.
Unplanned amount of time to do some work, to do some travelling.
Yeah.
To do some blogging, vlogging, photographying.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Travel, see the island and document it.
Superb. Well, and is it all right if I share some of your progress on the Bald Explorer?
Absolutely, yeah, of course it is.
Because it would be lovely
I should have bought a T-shirt.
Oh yeah, to promote.
The Bald Explorer in New Zealand.
Oh well, if you give me your address, we might be able to send one out.
There you go. That'd be good.
You never know. Well, I hope you have a fantastic time.
Thank you so much.
Obviously, I'm going to be very worried and nervous, but as time progresses and once you arrive and you know you're going to be all right for the first couple of weeks.
I'll make sure you know I'm alive.
Good. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, no, but I'm very excited for you, very thrilled. It's going to be fantastic, and it will be a life changer, just the experience, if nothing else.
Definitely.
So it is, and you know, it beats doing what you were doing for the last few years over here. So, and who knows, there may be changes afoot when you come back. If you come back.
If I come back, I might just carry on travelling that side of the world whilst I'm there. Who knows?
Oh my God. Right.
Oh.
It is a worry.
I know. I'm not looking forward to all the goodbyes now.
No, no. Well, at least you're doing some goodbyes days before you go.
Yes.
Because then you just concentrate on going.
Yeah. Tomorrow I just want to relax and get myself mentally prepared for it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, George.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you. It's gonna be odd.
Yeah.
It's gonna be odd.
Really
but anyway. So there we are. George will be going, and I'll let you know the progress, of course. So yeah, thank you, George.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Oops. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be very, very tearful on Wednesday. I probably won't now see Georgie again. You know, till she comes back, or if I manage to get over to New Zealand myself, and go and do some videoing, you know, maybe I can persuade the lovely Julia to fly over with me, so I'm not completely on my own, or any of the other lovely viewers who fancy you'd have to go for a couple of weeks, though, wouldn't you, if you're going to New Zealand, because it's such a long flight. You can't just nip over for the weekend. Anyway, it would be awesome to go and visit and see and have Georgie show us round. Anyway, so that was very nice. Now, before we go, ladies and gentlemen, we've only got 10 minutes left of the show. A quick reminder on the 22nd of September. I know that's a while away. It's about a month from now. I'll keep reminding you, but put the date in your diary, because we're having a meet-up, ladies and gentlemen. A meet-up of all the VOBES Show fans and the Bald Explorer fans in the southeast. If you can get yourself to Liss in Hampshire, you're in for a treat, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to meet up with Wendy Wakelin and family, and there's a chance, if you're good, that we can all have a ride on the trailer and see the traction engine Victoria, the Empress of India. Fantastic. We're going to meet up at a pub, have a pub lunch, have a bit of a chinwag in the garden, that sort of thing. Hope it's nice weather. If it isn't nice weather, there's a gazebo, or we can go inside or something like that. On the 22nd, so put that date in your diary. It's going to be great. Mark Selwood says that New Zealand is lovely. He's not actually been himself, but he's got two friends with two New Zealanders 16 years ago he made friends, with them 16 years ago for a long hot summer, and he says they're ever so nice. James DeWill says, of course, you'll love it there. Visited myself in the 20s and ended up staying for a year. So, yeah, I'm absolutely sure that lovely Julia will be there. I hope not lovely Julia, lovely Georgie. Do you know, I was calling Julia Georgie on the Tractorfest. I was saying, oh, Georgie, can you just... Oh, sorry, Julia. I mean, Julia, Georgie, similar sort of sounding name. It's I'm hopeless with names, hopeless. So there we go. Emily Champion says about the dinner She says, yeah, that we can go in the garden if the weather is good and we'll do a live one. We can walk around the park at the back with Bessie in the little woodland. Mother Kitty Shaw goes back to Henry VIII. Not quite sure what she means about that, but we'll have a look. And Mark Selwood is saying, I think, Richard, you're a little hoarse. And you're right, actually, my throat. I'm not on full... I'm not in full mode, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not doing my whole, all of this malarkey because I'm very tired. I said to Julia before I went on the show, I said I'll probably only do half an hour. I'm absolutely ready to drop, and that's true. I am ready to drop. But so excuse me and forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, for not being on full cock, as they say. But I've got to go down to Western Zoyland tomorrow. I made a video about 18 months ago for the Battlefield Society there for the Battle of Sedgemoor. In 1685, there was the battle between the rebels, the Duke of Monmouth's party, and the King's forces for Charles. Well, actually, it was for James I because Charles II had died, and the Duke of Monmouth was trying to become king. He wanted to become king and wanted to contest James the... Was it James the First or James the Second? James the Second, wasn't it? So anyway, there was a battle down there. I made the video for them, and I promised that I would go back and do a bit of an update. So I'm going back there now. There's a chance. This is down on the Somerset levels. There's a chance that I can get to do some walking videos, and there's a chance that I can meet up, funnily enough, with Matthew Holdsworth, who happens to be on holiday down that neck of the woods, which is amazing. So with any luck, on the Wednesday, I will manage to get a walk in with them, fingers crossed. But I've got to make my way back. It's a 3-hour journey there. It's a 3-hour journey back. And my client is very kindly putting me up. He's got a beautiful Georgian house, Georgian fronted house. Anyway, I think he's older than that. Beautiful house. He's a very nice bloke. I'm sure we'll have a lovely time and we'll do the bits and pieces of filming that we need to do, and then afterwards I can hopefully go and walk around the battlefield myself and do a couple of videos, which would be great. James Will says, take Bessie to meet on the live on the 22nd. You betcha I'll be taking Bessie, because if we can go live and do that, then that would be absolutely fantastic. Henry David Allen, he says, are you going to the pumping station? What, down on the Somerset levels? I don't know where that is, actually. Maybe you could send some information to me. Email me, Henry. Email me, richard@vobes.com. No doubt you've made a video. Hello, thank you for joining me, and it would be great to see it. Post it on the group and send a link to me, richard@vobes.com. I'd be interested to know about that. That would be grand. Right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I just got one more bit of thing. Tomorrow's video is a visit to Sompting Abbots, which is a preparatory. I always have a prep school, preparatory school. Is that the right way? I don't know how you say it. Preparatory school for I think for for boys and girls in Sompting, which is just north of Worthing. It's sort of northeast, if you like. It's a very old part of Worthing, and it's in this very beautiful Victorian building, but based on a much older manor house that was there way back to the Saxon period. And we go and have a walk round with the lovely Stuart Douch and Sarah Monaghan, I think her name was. I hope I've got that right. And that's in tomorrow's. Now, I was hoping to have edited the set that's in 2 parts. One's on the outside, the exterior, because there's some very interesting bits and pieces to see, and then we've got the interior where we go up into the tower. And I was hoping to have the second one edited so that you could see that on Wednesday, but it looks like I'm not going to get it done now, and I'm so tired I'm probably going to go to bed, and tomorrow morning I'm straight off, upload the video, and then I'm straight off down to the Somerset levels for that period of time. So it looks like I'm not going to get it done. So what I'm trying to say is Wednesday morning there may be a void, the first one for about 13 months, maybe 14 months, where I've missed an actual video out on the weekday. I've done it. I've managed to do it for 365, well, 12 months, whatever. And so tomorrow there may be that, not tomorrow, the next day there'll be a void where, but I will try and get it edited out when I come back. I'm going to be absolutely drained. and I'll try and edit it up. But anyway, so apologies. So I'm just saying I'm, working as hard as I can to get these things out. So sorry about that. But I wanted to show you just a couple of. They very kindly sent me some pictures. So this is not a photograph, but it's a line drawing of the abbots. This is circa 1814 of what was the old building, what looked like the sort of manor house of the time in 1814. So this is a sort of Georgian looking version of the house, and you'll see in a minute what it looks like today. But that actually was it tumbled down a little bit, and a lot of the stonework and the napping was reused in the current building. And now there's little bits of that do remain in the grounds, and you'll see that in the video tomorrow. So I just wanted to show you that. You'll see that this is so that was commissioned almost adjacent was this. So this is the sort of Gothic Victorian. This is a black and white picture. This is from about 1951. It was now a school at that time. It turned into a school in the 1921 period. But so at first it became a lovely country house with servants. Here's the servants by the front door. Look at those, all lined up. They're very nice, friendly. I love the hats. They're all wearing hats, aren't they? And even a lovely little dog there, apart from the bloke in the middle. And I assume he's one of he must be the butler, I suppose. But yeah, nicely turned out, aren't they? And lovely old faces. Lovely. I love all that sort of thing. And here is a shot from the air, looking down on the, and it's pretty much like that actually now. Some of it's a bit changed, but there it is in the middle, right at the foot of the downs, really, or in the downs at Sompting. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. The video will go out tomorrow, so really, really cool, very exciting. So let's just see if there's any more comments in the commentometer, the Vobomatic messaging studio. The Snugget to the rescue. Richard Slugger says, I might have the West Dean Garden video for Wednesday. Ah, well, that would be cool. We could put that up on. That would be great. Have a chat. Actually, I don't know if you're free to have a quick chat at the end of the show. That would be great. Henry David Allen says, I've not been there. I won't be offended if you beat me to making a video there. I'll send you some info. There's a pumping station with a narrow gauge railway. So I don't know how much time I've got. I'm not quite sure what Matthew's got planned, whether he's got his family there, but we may get a chance. I'm not going to promise anything, but it would be lovely to see. So yeah, so there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed today's show. It's been great fun to get back. We've had a lovely time at the Tractorfest, as the photos showed. We've all worked very hard. My voice is running out. My energy levels are running out. Yeah, so that's been it. But thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. And I hope that we'll be back. Now, I'm not sure. I'm thinking about this. The plan is to be back on Wednesday. But it may be, if I miss Wednesday because I'm travelling back, we may do it on Thursday, the live show. I will post something on the VOBES Show page so that you know for sure. I'm sorry to muck up the time. You might think, oh, he just mucks it about, he just pulls it out and mucks it about. But actually I do, I know how disruptive it will be. So because I'm travelling about a bit, it is an annoying thing. But if we don't manage it Wednesday, we'll do it on Thursday. You won't not have a show. And if we do it on the Thursday, the lovely Julia says she'll make sure that she can come along. She can't do it on the Wednesday because her husband has high karate. Anyway, so there we go. That's that. Now, I'm not going to play the same old sting to get out, the opener. I'm going to play the old music. So when you hear this music, ladies and gentlemen, that I am got to disappear and vanish off. But thank you so much for coming along. It's been absolutely a pleasure. Didn't think I was going to last the whole thing. It's been great to see you. You take care. Look after yourself and hopefully see you Wednesday. If not Wednesday, I'll see you Thursday. Enjoy the videos. Thanks for your contributions. And don't forget, if you want to support the show, if you want to become a patron, baldexplorer.com. Just go to the baldexplorer.com and that is where you can find out how to do it. Here we are. Here's the link. Absolutely brilliant. BoardSport.com, and you can also buy a T-shirt as well. Why not? You might want one of our T-shirts. Anyway, thank you so much. Until the next time, from me, goodbye, goodbye.